It's Happy Hour again from Uptown New Orleans. Hello, I'm Grant Morris. Happy Hour is part of the family of shows on the podcast network. It's neworleans.com. When you walk into a bar in New Orleans and you pull up a bar stool, you never know who's going to be sitting on either side of you. What you do know, however, is no matter what they look like, what they're wearing, whether they just got out of a limousine or just got out of jail, they're going to be happy to talk to you because that's New Orleans and this is Happy Hour, a cocktail-fueled 60 minutes of random conversation with folks who have nothing in common. Other than we're all New Orleanians in a bar. Today we're at the fabulous Wayfare on Ferret Street where they serve handcrafted food. That's food that's made by human beings, not robots yet. And they have a whole new menu with a radically new happy hour. They have a 3-hour happy hour here every day from 3 to 6 and an awesome brunch on the weekends during the happy hour. They have half-price drinks and half-price food. So how do you like that?
Love it.
KJ is here. I just found out her real name is KJ. All my research from our extensive research department called you Dr. Kathy Jo Carstarphen. Is that how you pronounce your name?
Yes, sir. That's perfect.
Yes, sir. Okay.
First sir I've ever heard on Happy Hour.
All right. Thank you very much. That's a good start to the show. I need you to call me sir all the way through the show.
Okay, sir.
Do I have to call you ma'am?
No, please don't do that.
Why would that be? That's more of an insult.
I don't think it's an insult. I just think
is it?
There's this weird standard for men. It's like you get better with age, whereas women, I feel like, we're not supposed to get older.
But when you say it with a southern accent, doesn't it kind of sound just like a sweet, when I say it, to a woman, like, oh, yes, ma'am. Like, doesn't
That's
that kind of
true. With
that
the
doesn't
head
sound
shake.
like, oh, because you're older, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, yes, ma'am.
But
yes,
you got to do
What does
that
it
head
sound like?
shake.
What is the implication of I called you ma'am?
I feel like if you called me ma'am, you kind of see me as someone that's older, someone that, I don't know, that's like more in this position.
And then what happens
if
you call me sir? You see me as a fabulous older man.
a seasoned
That is weird.
gentleman.
But the way he just did yes ma'am, he shook his head while he said it, so it seemed I don't know, it just seemed complimentary.
Sexy.
It's just different. It's just the whole context.
There's a sexy way of saying ma'am. Okay.
Never mind.
Ramon Antonio Vargas is here as well. Am I supposed to call you sir as well?
Senor is what they call me.
Senor Vargas.
That's what my people call me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who are your people?
My parents are just my family in Mexico. They don't actually call me senor. No one's ever called me senor. So yes.
No one's ever called you senor.
No.
Well, Senor Vargas, let me be the first. So you're the first person who's ever called me sir on Happy Hour.
Okay.
And now I'm the first person who's ever called you senor. So to be fair, you have to be the first person to call Andrew something.
Mm-hmm.
Like what?
Go easy on me,
Mrs.
Let me think.
What's the first?
Boss, champ. What do you like? Boss.
Jefe.
Jefe.
There we go. We'll keep it Jefe.
Chief. That's not bad. Okay, Chief. I have to write all these down. I'm never going to remember.
I'd like to be called Senorita, actually.
Senorita. Mm-hmm. Where are you from with a name like Carstarphen?
Oh, Carstarphen is Scottish.
Is that your husband?
No, that's my maiden name.
But I'm Scottish.
No, I'm Creole African American, and so African Americans got their names from whoever owned the plantation that they lived on,
right? As
they served that.
Lucky
family.
It wasn't like some other weird name, like the ranches in Arizona that have those weird names like Two Bar, something or other. Otherwise, your name would be Two Bar. Is that right?
That would be bad.
So this was someone's name who owned a plantation.
Some Scottish guys that came to Alabama. Yeah,
really?
Yeah,
in Alabama. Mm-hmm. Scottish. What a weird thing.
It
to
is
do,
a weird,
but from Scotland to Alabama and then end up. With a plantation.
But if you think, like, most African Americans have British, Scottish names. They have Western European names, and so that's how most of us get it. Unless you're directly from Africa.
Have you thought about changing your name to some sort of?
No, of course not.
No way.
No.
How many generations of Carstarphens have there been?
Oh man, I mean, it has to be at least 4. I mean, at least 4. Right. If you think about the whole
the original people who were your forebears were slaves, aren't they?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. In Oak Hill, Alabama. That's where I'm from.
That's where you're from?
Yeah.
Wow. How did you get out of there?
Well, my parents both came here to go to Xavier for college, and then mom's from here, and so they went back to Selma, ran a pharmacy, and just recently retired, and I grew up working in that pharmacy. And that's
They're actual pharmacists who went to Xavier?
Yes, pharmacists that went to Xavier.
Because you see all these Xavier kids walking around in those little short, groovy white coats.
Exactly. That's what they
do.
do.
It's good to know that somebody actually graduated.
That's right. Started a pharmacy.
Your parents.
Yeah.
So they're pharmacists and you're a doctor.
Yes, sir.
Do you have kids? Yes, sir. Where do you get this idea
I don't
of calling people sir? Is that a Selma thing?
I think it's a Southern anything. He says yes, ma'am, and he shakes his head.
Yeah,
I mean, that's like
I've
never heard it.
Mine's coming off more like a little complimentary thing that doesn't indicate your age. But you seem to be calling Grant old. I think I gotta call you.
I know I look old today because I have a terminal illness.
Oh wow.
What kind of doctor are you?
Internal medicine. I don't want to ask. I'm not going to ask you what you have because I mean.
Would that be a Hippocratic oath?
No, it's an invasion of your privacy. If you want to share it, you can share it. I'll listen.
Well, it's undiagnosed.
Okay.
I'm just assuming it's terminal because of how I look today.
No one here looks bad.
Do you think that's believable, doctor? No. That's bad news, Andrew.
No one here looks bad.
If I look bad enough that I could actually have a terminal illness, according to a doctor.
It's like you say I have a terminal illness, and I was going to say.
You're not looking too good. Okay. No, I don't have one, except for death, of course.
Everybody's going to die.
Yeah.
So,
as far as we know.
Yeah.
What kind of? So you're an internal doctor, internal medicine. So after your name here, it's in front of me. It says MD/MPH, and I asked Alison, our associate producer, what that means. She said it means miles per hour.
It does mean miles per hour.
It does mean that. So that's a weird thing to have.
It is weird. Yeah.
Doctor and miles per hour, like a Speedo.
Exactly. I'm a fast person.
So you're like a fast doctor. So how long would your average consultation be? Like 4 minutes? That's what my doctor.
That's
how I know I have the terminal illness.
No, my practice is all geriatrics.
Even worse. It's getting worse by the minute now.
So they get first appointment is 1 hour.
Really?
Yeah, because because
they've got the time.
They have the time.
Right.
Exactly. They don't mind, but they usually have a lot of stuff going on. They need a lot of counseling, a lot of
you specialize in geriatrics.
Yeah.
What do you make of that, Ramon?
I don't know. If you go a little, usually I associate clinics that see patients pretty fast. It's pill mills, right?
That's true.
In my work, that's usually what I run into them for. So
how long was your last consultation with the doctor?
It's been a while probably too long since I've been to.
Do you have Obamacare or whatever it's called?
No, last time I went to a doctor, I had torn my Achilles, so it was pretty long.
Painful,
excruciating.
How did you do that?
Right around the corner, actually playing soccer at Green. Yeah. So.
Do you? I have a question. I always see that, and I want to stop and even bring a chair and just watch it and bring a beer. Do you think they would have a problem with that?
I'd stay on the street side, not in the school. Go to the campus. I know that's usually a problem, but
it just seems like on the school. It seems like a fun game to watch. It's like a small soccer field over there.
Yeah, it's right around the corner. It's at a high school
soccer field. Yeah, but there's the guys over there always look athletic, and they mean business. So
I thought that was a
fun game to watch.
I was the exception there because I was not athletic. But I'd
stand by the goal and push like a league thing?
You have it's like a little league, and I can tell you another funny story. That night when I tore my Achilles, I panicked, and I called. I can laugh at it now. I called the ambulance, and it took me to the hospital right here, that Oshner facility right around the corner.
Yeah.
$1,400 was the ride. Yeah.
I've done the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Did you manage to get it negotiated down at all?
I haven't yet, but I would have hopped over there if I knew.
Did you pay it? Have you already paid that bill?
Yes.
Because I was going to help
is there
you.
A way? I was going to help you. How could you tell us how to do it?
Because I work for Oshner, so
it wasn't.
There's
it was the
patient
ambulance
assistance.
bill. It was like the ambulance.
So it wasn't through Oshner.
Was it a Acadian ambulance?
No, it was the city's.
It's called. Oh, there's a city ambulance company?
I mean, it was New Orleans EMS. Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
My one was called Acadian Ambulance.
Yeah, Acadian's a company. Acadian's an ambulance company.
And that was $1,200 to go 4 blocks.
I was pretty upset that because like the insurance company tells you like, oh, like that agency that you used isn't in our isn't a part of our. I'm
How fucked up is that?
It's the city's ambulance service.
Right. Wow.
It's the city of New Orleans.
It's a fucking ambulance, and someone called the ambulance for me. And what am I supposed to do? Ask them?
I know, you just call 911.
Did they shove you in the ambulance in a gurney and everything?
Yeah, they put me. It was very dramatic.
Horrible,
they put me in a gurney, and they're like,
it's so humiliating.
It's horrible.
The teammates are like, "You're gonna be all right, man." I didn't get like.
And did they put an IV in you?
No, they hooked me up to the.
They get all the shit.
Heart monitors.
And I'm saying to the guy, "Why do I need an IV?" Well, we have to do that.
You don't need it.
They don't need it.
You don't.
No, it's insane. I didn't know anything. All I could think was, though, that this is all the wrong angle. You know, you used to see it on TV or the movies where you see someone shoves into the windows and the door shuts and they drive off. I'm like, man, you're not supposed to look at it from this angle.
I want to be outside.
Yes, it was horrible. Yeah. It's a horrible experience. I guess if you were really dying, you wouldn't notice it. But
right.
So what do they do for your Achilles? You have to just get it bandaged up, or you have to get surgery on it?
Basically stitch it together, stitch the two ends. Yeah, they just do like a. If I'm not mistaken, doctor, it's they do like a rectangular pattern, like an X, like
an X is
inside
not
the
a
rectangle.
But I can see why
that's
you're a
right.
writer.
Yeah.
I'm a mathematician.
Like an X inside of the rectangle, and then you just let it heal together. Just have to rehab it. 6 months in rehab.
Oh my God! 6 months.
I'm just walking.
So someone who might be interested to have a drink at Wayfare and then walk over to watch some soccer. What time do
asking for a friend?
What time do these Achilles destroying soccer games?
Well, mine was in the pretty low division league, but the Tuesday night leagues are pretty competitive, and you'll see guys played in college, and some of them. There's some guys that played at night, just like 5 o'clock on.
5, okay,
yeah,
cool.
So
speaking of club teams and whatnot,
yes.
Do you know that the place that we're sitting? I could be wrong.
Yeah.
This isn't true journalism. But I don't have I haven't double checked my facts here.
Do you know that Ramon is a journalist, by the way?
Okay, well,
he really is a journalist for the Advocate.
Great. That's a great segue because I was going to ask. But real quick, this point where we are sitting, Wayfare right now, used to be the boxing rink on Ferret, which used to have Friday night fights.
Yeah,
I think you're
right.
And you could come in. I think you paid $5 or $10 at the door, and there was a boxing ring in the middle and a keg, and you just drank beer and watched fights.
Yeah, right.
This was a gym, a boxing gym. Actually, I profiled a youth, kind of like a kind of an older boxing coach that used to work out of here. It took kind of like a younger, kind of had a troubled past young kid, and kind of got him on the straight and narrow here, and I followed them for like several months as he got ready for his first fight.
Wow.
So I spent a ton of times here, and that was good. I told his name was Roy, was the kid, and I told him it was one of the huge boosts for my career, and I always told him, I'm like, I can't thank you enough for letting me. I've kind of lost touch with him, unfortunately, but yeah, we spent a lot of time together in this gym, and
so writing about him was a big boost in your career.
Yeah, no, and I told his family.
Where did you? Was this in the Advocate?
I was working at the time, speaking at the time. I was like a pup, man. It was like 2008, so that was like my first big I was like a 2-day series, and got me like my first big award. So it was huge, and I told him thank you.
What did you win?
It was just a little feature writing award from the State Press Association.
Oh,
cool.
So we don't know what happened to Roy though. I guess that's what happens when
it's been a
while, journalist, right? It's not like
I've switched beats a good bit. So
you used to write sports because you wrote a book about sports as well.
Yes, about
you're an author.
I've written a book.
That makes you an author, doesn't it?
Yeah, no. I mean, I just.
Are you embarrassed to be about?
No, I mean,
Senor?
I wish I could have. I envy those guys that can put out like a book a year. That took me forever to write, and it's a pretty thin volume. But
I thought it looked like a good story. This is, Grandma producer sent me this information. It's called "Fight, Grin, and Squarely Play the Game."
Yes, it was.
It's not a great title.
Well,
so titles are hard, man.
Story behind that one.
As long as you own it.
When it was the publisher. Actually came up with that title, and it was a line in the fight song for the Loyola athletics program, and that is and the book was about obviously the basketball team in 1944-1945, which is World War II era in New Orleans, winning a national championship and it's the only to the day the only basketball team in New Orleans to win a national championship.
Amazing.
If you count.
Was it a girls' basketball team?
No,
or was it boys' basketball?
It was a men's team.
Men's basketball team.
Yeah, and
set in World War II.
Yep, it was I guess it would not be what the NCAA is. It's what they call it the NAIA. Now it's kind of like a lower division. But still, it was.
Doesn't this sound like a movie?
It'd be pretty hard. Yeah, I mean,
Really?
I thought about it, but there's not a lot of.
It's like minor league Hoosiers, basically.
Yeah.
But isn't all those, those feel-good movies like
Right.
Blindside?
Yeah, I mean,
doesn't it
Yeah,
sound like
totally.
that, KJ? Really?
What was that one with Leonardo DiCaprio where he was like the high school diaries or
Basketball
like basketball
Diaries.
diaries? He could do like one of those.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Wait, what? What's the angle you're saying? So the team
is a
from
bunch
New
of-
Orleans wins a national championship.
There's a bunch of kids.
Down and under team.
So it's just kind of like a peek at like.
The underdog.
Underdog team wins championship, but you got to sell me on this, Grant. What else? Underdog. Yeah, every show. Yeah, they're gonna win the championship at the end. Come on. What
So
else
like
you got?
their community, they're getting. So people that belong to that community are dying in the war. It
Right,
just gives like
right.
a peek.
That's
And there's
special.
also a pretty good angle in there. The star player ended up being of. He was mixed, right? I mean, and he was passing as white.
Yeah.
And so they
another
win the
good
national
angle.
championship.
That's good.
Amazing.
And he ended
Yeah.
up getting when they discovered that, and they discovered that in kind of a roundabout way involving his brother, who was also a very good athlete and was at the center of a recruiting war between LSU and Tulane, and the side that lost. The side that lost that recruiting battle ended up kind of putting it, exposing him, and then so they ended up, that whole family ended up moving up to the north, and really I think that particular gentleman that I'm referring to that played for Loyola came back once, from what his family told me after that, and that was when they honored them. So it covers a good
got
bit of
everything
ground,
in
but
there. It's got the war, it's got race.
Yeah.
a lot of people were like, that was the
selling me.
the story,
Yeah.
and that is worth its own book. But I did want to.
Did you try selling it to Hollywood at all?
Nah, I mean,
I feel like let's talk about what the title is if it's a motion picture. What were your alternate titles?
I didn't have any good ones, man. That's why the publisher ended up.
Well, I mean, what was your top one before the publisher had to butt in?
It was so cheesy, but it was Heroes, right? And it was Heroes Possessive, and then like the
the Heroes
that's
of
cool.
the Heroes.
Oh, they're like heroes.
Yeah, because
Like
one of the moments in the book was after that the people that belonged to Loyola that were fighting the war were kind of keeping up with it, getting the newspaper mailed to them, the school newspaper mailed to them, and just like in letters and stuff, they're like being kept. Hey, your school's doing great.
Yeah.
And, hey, they ended up winning.
That's
So they
cool.
ended
Yeah.
up like flooding the school with a lot of letters about like how inspiring it was and all that stuff. So
That's a
that
great
was
story.
Yeah, and I didn't have a lot of time to market it because I ended up taking it. I did this during my free time when I was covering at the end of my time at the Times-Picayune. And right when the book came out, I accepted a position at the Advocate to cover the Saints. So that was like, book came out on a Tuesday, and then by Friday I was like switching jobs, and
Oh my
I ended up just
gosh.
like training camp started, and so I completely abandoned.
So you didn't have time to go and promote it.
Barely.
That's the key to the whole thing.
Switch the title to Our Heroes,
There you
and then put it at the National D-Day Museum,
There you
and
go.
you'll sell
there you go.
You'll sell 3
Yes.
copies a day at $40 a piece to
Yes.
to the tourists, and you'll be good to go.
Sounds
Good idea,
Sounds
Ramon.
like
What do you
We'll
think?
talk
That's
about it.
rent.
That is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or they could make a
More
4D
gives.
movie about it.
That'd be good. Like in a little,
Yeah.
make it
Yes.
like a gym, like
Make
recreate
a
the gym.
coffee table
Stuff like
book.
that.
So do people call you Ramon Antonio?
So that's just distinguished me between my father is Ramon Vargas, but I'm not a junior because
What's his middle name?
doesn't have one. So and Ramon Antonio is really like my name. It's like it's Ramon Antonio. It's not like Ramon middle name Antonio. Like it's like
So
Ramon
this is like a
Antonio.
hyphen.
It isn't a hyphen,
hyphenated.
but
So I don't have that in the here either. So your name is Ramon Antonio.
yes, but
So
that's just
don't call
distinguished
me
me.
Ramon. Okay.
No, it's fine. I mean, Ramon is more
said
than
to call
fine.
him
But
What do your
Senor.
friends call you?
Senor.
Ramon.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Well, we could be friends for another
Absolutely.
45 minutes, right?
Just a little while.
So Andrew's been gone. Andrew's normally my co-host on the show, and he's been gone for how long? Months?
I mean, you
No.
changed the mics on me. I know.
I know. Eric's really stepped us up
No,
here.
this-
We've got a whole new...
This is, you know what I'm digging about
Beautiful,
this
isn't
is
it?
they're on stands. For those who can't see us, they're on stands rather than on little pedestals
tabletop.
on the table, which
Yeah.
is nice because you have to lean into the table. Right now, I feel like we have a little
Yeah.
space, and we really
Yeah.
can.
and your hands can go all the way.
That's
you can
right.
Knock
You can-
shit over.
You
and
can
it will be
gesticulate
fine.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
And your
nice.
drinks
Great.
are safe.
Yeah,
Right.
lots of good positives to this.
And that we have Hangover Destroyer here too. We've got
yeah.
free Hangover Destroyer today.
That's good.
I know. I thought you'd
Can I
like.
comment on this medically?
Please.
Please do. Yes. You have a medical.
Your eyes just lit up when
Do
I
they?
said that. So are they sponsoring this?
Yes. Brought to you by Hangover
Shit.
Destroyer.
Okay, I'm not going to comment on this.
You can totally tell us.
I'm
anything.
so not commenting on that.
Yeah, you can.
Never
Well,
mind.
what's your medical?
I'm just,
this is medically proven to prevent a hangover.
Okay.
Medically proven.
Okay, I'm just going to read these ingredients. So we've got vitamin C, vitamin B1, and then selenium, and then some proprietary blend of basically just fats. So y'all, whose is this? This is yours?
This is one of the world experts on hangover cures.
This is his company.
So we're getting free medical.
Well, what are you going to say about it? You
I'm
chicken
just
out
saying
now.
what the ingredients were. That's all.
Are you saying
No,
it's just like? Are you saying it's really sort of like snake oil?
No, I never said that. I just said, can I comment on it? And I read the ingredients.
You're chickening out
I'm
now.
not.
No, that was very
I read
pragmatic.
the ingredients.
You don't worry about Christian. He's very friendly. He's not going to hurt you.
I might steal some of you.
What's wrong? What's in it?
I just read it. I just read the ingredients.
Proprietary blend, HD.
There you go.
If I was to tell you that I was going to go out for a night of drinking, what would you recommend that I do before and or during and or after immediately?
I would recommend hydrate well, sleep well the night before, space your drinks out, eat frequently, that kind of thing. Dance.
Dance.
Does it help to wake up and you're hungover and then eat a burrito? Does that help?
Yes, definitely.
From
Everybody knows
experience,
that.
Yes.
That's
I
a ridiculous question.
Making sure. I just thought being satiated from a burrito made you forget that you're still hungover. But
Well,
do you
hamburger,
actually?
Cheeseburger
It
works
does.
too.
Yeah.
Fatty
stuff.
Any of that stuff.
A fatty meal before drinking helps. So okay, can I comment on Hangover Destroyer now?
No, sorry.
It does
All
have fats. I said that HD proprietary
fat,
blend
okay.
has a lot of fats. So this has fats.
So it's good for
Okay.
you. That's
Okay.
That's one of the ingredients that soaks
It's got
up the
fats.
So not all fats are bad. All right.
No, they're not. They're not.
Fats Domino's great.
He's one of the good fatses.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Andrew, so you've been gone for all this time because you've been making a record.
Most of the time because I've been yes.
Right.
And then I was
So
hungover
is
a
it
little
done? Can we
it's
say the record?
tracked. It's tracked. That means it's
Okay.
in the can, is what they used to say, because it used to be on tape.
Right.
They used to say it's
In
in
a
the can.
can.
Right now, it's on a hard drive.
So it's in the drive,
Yeah.
we can say. It doesn't sound quite as romantic.
No, not
It's
nearly.
in the
It's in the
can.
can. Let's say it's in the can.
Okay.
And
So you did it. So congratulations.
Well, I don't.
It's been a
got to
long
mix it.
time
Got to
coming.
master it. Got to think of a title, which is why I was curious.
Well, what about Fight, Grin, and Squarely Play the Game? That
Not
one.
going to work.
You could do a double thing with it.
I've been struggling. I've been struggling with the title. Title's hard. First you look at the song titles, right?
Right.
You figure out if there's a title
Right.
track, so
Right.
to speak. There is no title track. Then you go through all the lyrics, figure out if there's something
Right.
in the lyrics
Yeah.
that feels like a
Well,
microcosm.
maybe you need to give
not
them.
there.
You need to give them to someone else to do that.
That's
You're
what
too
I was
close to
thinking
it.
too.
KJ,
You're so in it. You're so
KJ and
overwhelmed
Way
by
ahead of you
it.
guys. I did all this, but I'm still struggling on a title.
Could you
Well,
name
I've
it
already
Andrew?
helped.
Like eponymous? Or
I
Andrew?
thought about like just Andrew or like self-titled.
What about
Andrew
Led
Duhon,
Zeppelin
Eponymous
3?
or
Is that gone?
or Andy. No,
Andy.
I just
Well, I
struggling.
told you my idea already, but you didn't like it. Welcome to my world.
That's
That's a
That's
good
so
one.
brilliant,
That's
isn't
a
it?
good one.
That's
I
not a
want to
good
go
one.
into your
All right,
world.
let me close
Or
your eyes, if you will.
Quando.
And I want you to imagine walking through, and this doesn't really happen that much anymore, but walking through a CD shop.
It doesn't happen ever.
Or
There
an
isn't a
iTunes.
CD
All right,
shop.
sorry. Scrolling down an iTunes page, and you have these little square
Right,
graphics
right,
that represent CD artwork, and right under there you have a name, and you have a album title.
Yeah.
So what's nice for bands is they get to be poets with their name. They can create something with a name, create a feeling, create a direction, a genre, something. I'm just using my name, so nothing there other than, he's probably a songwriter, right?
Right.
But I've got to get you in some direction that suggests the shade, the mood of this record. So
Well,
my
okay,
only
stop there.
poetry
What is
to the
the
person who's scrolling on iTunes is two
those
or three
two
words.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the shade or the mood of the record?
I'm dealing a lot with words like I like the idea that that roots and rivers and veins all do the same thing, roughly speaking.
Roots,
And there's a
rivers.
word for that, but it's a horrible word. It
What
doesn't
is it?
antisomosis or something.
What is it, Doctor? You must know the answer.
Antistomosis?
That's not it.
I don't know that
it's-
word.
it's
Anastomosis?
That's the one.
What is it?
Okay, anastomosis.
Yeah. So
How
it's
do you
I would
spell
buy
it?
your record if I saw that. As I scrolled,
but you
just
would,
'cause it's
but the layperson would read that word and think, what does that even mean? And I don't know. Moving on. You need something that says more. So I like the idea that we all have these rivers within us. We're all
Yeah.
dealing with our shit. The heart some like
sound so good.
element
River of shit and
How about
we're all dealing with our own river, right? That's better.
Right.
Sorry,
how about
sorry, shit.
angiogenesis?
What's that about?
Oh, that sounds good.
So it's a similar concept, but the idea is that it's new arteries growing to supply something that needs blood.
Oh.
So I don't know. So angio is artery or blood. So I don't know what the Latin word is for anything fluid.
Yeah. Okay.
So maybe aquagenesis.
Aquagenesis. That doesn't.
But something
that
like
sounds
that. Something
swimming pool
genesis,
cleaning.
but something that's fluid. Fluid first.
Yeah.
I
like that.
What's the Spanish word for fluid?
Literally fluido.
Fluido?
Yeah, I thought it
Just add the O at the end.
Fluido.
Well, okay, so we're heading toward the thing, but the
What
idea
about river roots and veins? I like that.
thought about
I do
river
too.
roots
I
and
like that
veins
too.
being an idea.
Cover everybody.
Just river roots and veins.
You got
that's it.
doctors. You
What
got
about
environmentalists.
like headwaters? Or
That's like that's what you cross
like the
before you
source.
head onto the open
the
ocean.
source of the river, or blood relative.
Ooh,
Blood relative.
I like blood.
That
You
sounds-
do? Because I hate the blood
Do you?
part. I kind of like the
Yeah,
relative.
that sounds a bit like a heavy metal band.
Yeah, like the blood, like leading with blood is kind
That
of
sounds like
a
a
lot.
Metallica album.
Yeah, I like vessel. I like the word vessel. There's a lot of
Yes.
vessel.
What is that beautiful song you wrote about dragging a boat?
Oh yeah, no man's land is what it's called.
No Man's Land. What about that?
No, it just
See? I
call
can't win. Whatever.
See, like to own a track so much as to call it the title track is not what I want to do
right,
with the
okay.
record. There's no
Right.
song that I think should claim
It's not like
titleness.
Right. Okay. So forget about that. Okay. So you want to play us something off the new record?
Yeah, sure. Do you want to hear that song you
Yes.
mentioned?
Yes.
Yes.
Would you guys are going to love this song. It's beautiful. I haven't heard I heard a version a long time ago.
You need to give me a minute to tune, but
We
You
don't
can
have
talk amongst
that. We don't have
yourselves.
that kind of time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, you have the thing on there. So
I do have the snark.
It's all good.
Grant loves the snark. We should
capo.
get a
no,
sponsorship
this
by
thing
Snark.
here.
What is
So
it?
check
The thing
this
on the
out.
end of the
Oh.
It's
guitar.
like a
This
little
thing.
clip tab,
Oh,
and
it's a
what's so
tuner.
cool about this thing is it's not even listening. It's got frequency elements in the clip
You
itself.
don't have to touch it even.
Well, so it could be loud as hell, and there could be all kinds of different frequencies. But I
Okay.
can feel the frequency of
Okay.
the headstock, and I could tune at a loud club and
That's
still
cool.
get a great tuning, which is kind of impressive. And it's super responsive. It's replacing everybody's $100 pedal tuner, other than the fact that it can't mute the guitar while you tune. But
That's what you used
Everybody
to
loves
use, a
these
pedal
things.
tuner.
that's right.
What was
I mean,
that?
everybody still use it only because it mutes the guitar while you tune. You don't want to be hearing
I
this
see what you're
while
saying.
you're tuning at a show.
Ah, okay.
But other than that, people love these little head clips.
So what are you actually doing now? You're tuning the guitar to a different
Well, before
tuning.
I had it to an open tuning or a slack tuning. It's when you tune the guitar to a chord,
Right.
And I'll go back to that if we play another song. But
Okay, so
essentially,
this is regular
this is
tuning.
standard tuning,
Okay,
half
standard
a step down
tuning.
is what it is.
Okay, and the song's called No Man's Land, off the album Angiogenesis.
Andy, I like that.
But
No,
you're,
come on.
You're,
Angiogenesis. I do.
you're a medically trained person who knows what that means.
Would you understand that if you saw that angiogenesis?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I know Genesis and
Yeah.
Genesis is first
the
of all,
beginning of something
as a
in
lay
angio,
person
yeah.
who has no education, Genesis is
Angioplasty.
something out of the Bible. First of all,
Yes.
number one, and
And it
angio
was-
is when you go into hospital with a heart problem. You have an
Psychogenesis.
angiogram. That's what most
That's
people.
true.
I thought
think-
about cardioid. It's like the
Ooh.
heart, but it's also what the radius of a microphone is. It's a cardio.
Ah. What about opioid? That's in the news constantly. You get a lot of hits if you call it opioid online.
You ready for this now?
Yes.
Okay, here it comes. I can still see you and me settled down on a couple acres. I see a foothill farm where a dog can run around. And in my mind I'm out picking them tomatoes, but the rest of me just keeps rambling round. Just weathering the storm, a love that's off and on. I'll love you, then I'm gone again. I'm
stuck somewhere in the Midwest. Oklahoma is my best guess. Somewhere between holding out and holding out my hand in no man's land. In no man's land. Oh, no man. Your heart is miles and miles of placid ocean. Mine is a rowboat that I drag through landlocked towns. I know deep down it's all constantly in motion. You know deep down you can't just keep waiting around. Just weathering the storm of a love that's off and on again. I'll love you, then I'm gone again and again. I'm stuck somewhere in the Midwest, never better than my best guess. Somewhere between not right now and if not now, when you know man's land. In no man's land. If holding on will only leave us empty-handed, I'd rather burn it to the ground and leave you stranded in no man's land. If this is no man's land.
That was beautiful. That is the best
amazing.
version of it yet.
Oh, good, thanks. Well, I recorded it, so I hope.
Yeah. KJ, what'd you think?
I loved it. I mean, it was so relaxing and just I don't know, just helped me reflect on my whole life. It was
Nice,
very
thanks.
beautiful.
And your whole life, you
Yeah.
saw your whole life flash before you?
I mean, but in a calm way, like
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, just seeing how I got here, and it was very beautiful.
Thanks.
Wow.
Thank
So you
you.
relate to that person?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
I think it's a perfect title track. I
You
don't,
think?
Yeah.
There's a word in there.
Title
hard.
track. I don't like title. I
You
just
don't like
I
that
hate
word.
title
Okay.
track.
What about
Sorry.
landlocked?
I don't get it.
I don't know what it means.
Just you know,
just
I
heard
like
it.
the idea
I
of
just heard
words
it
that
in
just
there.
end up. You know, like that's
Yeah.
a very powerful thing. Is just to make one word that has fairly dense meaning. The title, and
Right.
if it's just that, then like landlocked is pretty dense, but it doesn't really
It sounds too
articulate anything.
songwritery too, probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost cliched in a way, maybe.
Yeah, well, I mean, the cliche is so hard to get around.
Yeah.
The folky singer-songwriter guy coming up with a title for his record. I mean, do you make it wordy and make it like 5 words long or something? Just
If you could come up with
something.
5 cool words, that would be good.
Maybe. I don't know. I think you got to keep it simple. 1 or 2 words, maybe 3.
Is that about anybody in particular? Or
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, it sure is.
Wow.
Name it after her.
Can you elaborate? Well, I mean,
That's
can
not
you
a bad-
elaborate?
Should buy it.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, I mean, I just, I think, I didn't know that you could just miss. Well, it's one of 2 things. Like, I didn't know that. People say that when you know, and I'm utterly convinced that that is not true, because I do not know, and it's the not knowing that is most difficult. To be somewhere in between giving everything or everything that I have left to a love, or doing the right thing by letting them go. Not knowing which of those to choose, those both seeming like noble enough choices, and still being caught in the middle, I suppose. You know.
Could name it after her, man.
What's that?
I like that idea. You could name it after her.
I don't know if she'd like that.
Yeah.
So what is it that you're not knowing? You're not knowing whether you're really in love with someone.
Sure.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the not knowing that's most difficult. That's what you said.
Uh-huh. That's a lot of words.
Yeah, it's good, though. It's a good sentiment if you could find some... You know what you need, maybe? Some marketing type person who makes up slogans for people.
Yeah.
You know?
I got it here, Chief. How about this one?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because if you could say that it's the not knowing that's most difficult in some sort of shortened form, if we only had... If we only had an award-winning journalist here, for example.
No, that's not...
Who could put that into it.
I wonder if you can find the place where that is most relevant in nature. You know, I always love Robert Frost and Thoreau and the guys who managed to find life lessons in the way that nature works. You know, and the river. Right. There's so much about the river that we can gather about ourselves and the river within ourselves. So what is there in all of that we could maybe say, maybe the uncertainty is the river that we ride, or something like that, you know?
It's the river within the uncertainty.
And it just gets so cliche so quickly, right? I mean, even the word river is like kind of...
The river.
Cliche. Like, you know how many albums are probably called The River?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, so... Sorry to take you guys on this rough journey.
No, I think it's beautiful. It really is.
Well,
I mean, it has me
KJ,
thinking.
first of all,
I
Andrew,
love
do you want to play the guitar for another 30 seconds while I talk about who brought us the show? Today's show is brought to us by Basic Swim and Gym. We can get a full range of fashion, swimsuits, workout, and yoga clothes with style. If you need a bikini or a one-piece or a cover-up, do you need any of those, KJ? You do. Okay, I'll tell you where to go.
I definitely do.
Everything you need for the beach and poolside is at Basic Swim and Gym. It's right next to the lingerie store, Basics Underneath, on Magazine Street, near Jefferson Avenue. And our show is also brought to us by Snake Oil. No, hang on.
I didn't say that.
By Hangover Destroyer, the only all-natural product medically proven. Did you hear that, KJ? Medically proven to prevent a hangover. All you have to do is go to the Hangover Destroyer website. It's hdestroyer.com and write the words Happy Hour in the coupon code, and you'll get 30% off of your first order of Hangover Destroyer. So you too can seize the dawn. Guitar by Andrew Duhon, their little song called It's the Not Knowing That's Most Difficult.
I like that.
And here, this is especially for you, KJ. It's a special sachet of Hangover Destroyer. There you go, Ramon Antonio. I'm giving you those, guys. Now I want you to take that right now, and then Wayfare is going to buy you a bunch of half-price drinks, and we're going to see if it works. And
that's
then,
what I'm saying.
And then we'll see where the science comes in. Okay. Let's do it. What are you doing tonight, KJ? You have to do
taking
anything?
care of a 2-year-old.
How
old is yours?
2 weeks old.
What?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Congratulations! Wow.
Thank you. Thinking about making it to.
Lucky you got that Achilles.
I'm telling you, she let you out.
Well, I mean, I'm working. I'm trying to figure out how I got to finish a couple things and then get home for bath time. So.
Whoa.
But
well, good on you for taking an hour off and coming over.
Yeah.
Look, he's ripped
I love it. It's the first drink I've had.
You're actually going to take this.
I didn't know if we were going to do it.
I know.
Tell us what it's like.
Why not?
Alison, we need a photo of this for sure. Ramon's taking... Okay. He's actually trying the Hangover Destroyer live.
I don't know if I can finish it.
How does it taste? Pretty good.
It's minty.
Minty.
And
minty fresh.
Minty. I'll leave it there.
Okay. And you've already had one of these Moscow mules in the copper. Do you need a drink or something?
I'm good. I'm fine.
I can smell it from here. It's very minty. How are you feeling?
It's good.
Is it kicked in yet?
Yeah, that's all good.
Okay.
A little more than I bargained for. But.
Okay, so how did you, talking of names, how did you come up with the name for Krewe du Sante?
Oh, so that is a group of health in Creole Spanish. I mean, Creole French. I'm sorry. I only had one half glass of wine.
You haven't even finished the glass of wine. Krewe du Sante is Creole French.
It's like Creole French for like group for health. Group for health.
And that's what that's the Krewe du Sante
so
is.
It's
is it a Mardi Gras crew?
No,
actually?
it's. I mean, who knows what the future holds? But it's basically a group.
Who knows what the future holds?
Hello,
I think we've got it right there.
Come on, no.
It was a group of people as residents. We like to get together. We like to throw parties, but we're also doctors.
Residents meaning
in training.
Hospital residents.
Yeah,
not
hospital
residents of a certain neighborhood.
No,
So what
residents
exactly
of New Orleans.
What is a resident? Not residents, not doctor residents.
Yes, doctor residents.
Doctor residents.
So these
what
are people
exactly
I train
is
with.
that? That's people who are doctors already.
So you finish med school and then you spend like 3 to even 10 years really intensely training to do a specialty, and you basically sign over your life for that time period. You work like 30-hour shifts. You get a few weeks of vacation per year, a day off maybe per week, but it's intense. And so we were all residents together. We all wanted to do something where we could just pull money from the community to do things to promote health in New Orleans. And so that's what my nonprofit does.
So it's a nonprofit that you started. Yes, sir. And it's called Krewe du Sante, Krewe du Sante. And what do you actually do?
So this weekend, we actually have a really big fundraiser. It's called Hop Fest. We've done it every year for...
Wait. Slow down. This weekend.
Which
would be what date?
This Saturday, May 20th.
May 20th, 2000, what year is it? 17. Okay, so if you listen to this before Saturday, May 20th, 2017, go to...
the Healing Center, Cafe Istanbul at 8 p.m.
Okay.
And it is $20 for an open bar.
What?
Free lucky dogs.
Free lucky
dogs?
Free lucky dogs.
Oh, this is crazy.
No limit.
$20.
No limit. And then amazing music. So
who's the music?
Music includes Sexy Dex and the Fresh.
Oh, yeah.
Sexual Thunder.
Sexual Thunder.
Yes.
Okay.
Both groups, you know more about them than I do, but both nominated for Gambit, Best of New Orleans 2017 award. Totally up and coming, amazing. Like
Andrew's
really
a winner of Gambit.
Whatever.
Or Offbeat,
like
maybe,
years ago.
was it?
It was
Artist of the Year.
No,
Artist of the Year?
Song of the Song.
Whoa.
Something like that. He's also nominated for a Grammy Award, by the way.
What?
He'll deny
that's
that.
a New Orleans Grammy
He'll deny
right
that
there.
too. Watch this.
The record was nominated for a Grammy. That's a very different thing than the artist being nominated for a Grammy.
So he doesn't like to.
I'd rather the songwriter to be nominated for a Grammy.
But I'm not, so that's fine.
It's still Grammy nominated.
The record is
He's
Grammy
the worst
nominated.
self-promoter person you've ever met in your life.
He's humble.
Yeah, well, that's a nice quality in a person, right?
Yes.
Humility.
It is.
Yeah, I'm
But
totally
some
humiliated.
At some point, you could admit that it was a Grammy-nominated record.
Yeah,
After I've
I
said
do it at
about
almost every show where people
I
start
say
to
it.
get lazy-eyed and bored with Sad Bastard songs, and I'm like, by the way, this record I'm playing songs of is nominated for a Grammy.
Oh, that brings him back.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh yeah, and
Must
then I'm
be
like,
good,
but it
therefore.
lost, so let's move on. And they're like,
Well, that's good. So that's a good sort of stage.
Yeah, I got shtick,
Hey,
dude. I got shtick.
How was your Jazz Fest set this year?
It was good. I'll be honest with you. The Friday is a little less packed than the Saturday. I learned that this year. I've always played the weekend, so good to know. I mean, but don't get me wrong. I was pumped that we got booked this year because we haven't put out a record in 3 or 4 years now, and I thought this was a great year to give us off, and I wouldn't have been mad at it. But they booked us again, so I guess I've played there 5 or 6 years in a row now, and we'll have a record out next year. So hopefully, there's a little buzz going on that will be worth merit us being booked again next year. Yeah, it's a great opportunity. They take good care of artists, and yeah, pleasure to play there.
So we got off track. Sexy
Dex.
And the Fresh.
And then Sexual Thunder.
Sexual
Who booked
Thunder.
these bands with sex in the title?
Nice. Good for you.
Are you big on sex?
No,
Not
no.
really.
I guess that makes me comfortable with booking bands like that. I don't know. 'Cause
What's the connection between Sexy Dex and Sexual Thunder?
So I think they're friends. I think they're friends, but they also kind of had like a good '80s feel. They're also like amazing music, and so the theme is '80s because
cool.
it's a benefit for the HIV outpatient program, which started in 1987, like right when AIDS started just kind of exploding, and so. The proceeds go towards their support groups for people living with HIV and other ancillary programs.
You don't hear much about HIV anymore.
You don't. It's well treated. It's very well treated and controlled but I think that the rate of new infections is going down, but the prevalence of the disease itself is still stable. And New Orleans and Baton Rouge are the top, like some
number
of the
one.
top 10, at least in the U.S.
country?
Yeah, in the U.S.
For the transmission of
Yes.
AIDS?
Yes.
Or HIV? What is it called? Which one is it?
It's AIDS. AIDS is it's end stage HIV, and HIV is actually having the virus in your body.
So there's not a politically correct, isn't it? You're not supposed to say HIV and AIDS. They're two different things.
Yeah, two different things. And now I think the politically correct thing is to say people living with HIV instead of HIV positive. Because it's like, you have this disease, but you're still the same person and you're living with it.
No, it's not going to kill you for sure.
Yeah, it's just like diabetes. It's like there's treatment.
It's a manageable disease.
It's a manageable disease as long as you take your meds.
And I can still give it to someone else.
You can still give it to someone else.
And
absolutely.
Why are we so big on giving it to other people here in New Orleans? What is causing it?
I think there's stigma about sex in New Orleans. Or in the South in general. Maybe not New Orleans, but just in the South in general. Maybe more so in Baton Rouge. There's also just implementation of condom usage, compliance with your medications that maybe people in New Orleans don't do, but people in the South certainly wouldn't either if there's stigma about it.
Is it like herpes? Are you contagious sometimes and not others?
It really does depend on your viral load. So if you're not taking your meds or if your HIV is just progressing in its impact on your body, then, you would be more contagious than when you're not.
Another good title, viral load.
No.
I would buy that.
Would you? That's the most disgusting thing I've ever... Viral load. That sounds gross.
Pretty rough.
Don't you think, Ramon? Viral load. Wouldn't buy that, would you?
Sounds pretty icky.
Icky. Yeah, it does.
Wasn't there a list where New Orleans and Baton Rouge were like 1 and 2 on either? But I don't know. Was it specifically HIV or AIDS, or was it?
It could have been syphilis.
Syphilis
is up there
syphilis
too.
Yeah,
syphilis is up there too. Yeah, syphilis and HIV.
I know it was an STD transmission list.
Yeah.
But there were 1 and 2.
What's the deal with syphilis? That's totally curable.
Syphilis is totally curable with penicillin. It's just big in the South. It's just I think it goes along the same thing with just stigma about sex and absence of condom usage. And
you never hear anybody who's got syphilis anymore, do you?
As a doctor, I do. As a doctor.
As a geriatric doctor.
As a geriatric doctor.
That strikes me as even more bizarre. Well, you get like an 80-year-old guy comes in and says, what is the symptom of syphilis?
At 80, then you've got like end-stage syphilis. Then you start having neurosyphilis. You start having
That's a good title.
I think
everything's a title now. Neurosyphilis. What is that?
This is not good journalism.
What is that?
This is not good journalism. I heard that Al Capone had.
That's what I was going to say. Al Capone.
Is that right? Okay.
Syphilis. I think of Al Capone.
Yeah.
That's what he.
Do you? That's the first thing you think of.
That's what he died from, I think. Or he died.
Yeah, in prison or something. Yeah, neurosyphilis. But it's when it goes untreated for a really long time.
What exactly is syphilis?
Syphilis is a spirochete. It's a spirochete, so it's not quite. I think it's in the bacterial family, but it's a pathogen that works differently than other bacteria. So spirochetes can actually embed in tissue, and so penicillin works on it. It's that's a medication we've all taken at some point. So usually in the U.S., people are treated for syphilis whether they realize it or not, just by taking penicillin for what
are the symptoms of syphilis?
Symptoms of syphilis, so you'd have painless ulcers on your
genitals.
Yes.
You're a doctor. And you find it difficult to say the word genital?
No, I'm just trying to get you to interact with me.
Okay.
I want to play Phil the Blank too. I want to play.
It's painless ulcers on your
genitals.
Sorry,
ulcers. Oh, okay. No, I'm trying to say it in Spanish.
Is it on your testicles or on your penis? And what about women? Is it?
Oh, the same. Hoo-ha. The same.
What do you mean? You got ulcers in your vagina?
But you don't feel it, so it goes untreated, or you see it and it goes away, and you're like, I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not going to tell anybody. People don't want to talk about that. I'm going to wait till they go away, and they go away. And then you give it to other people. Yeah, they go away.
So they do go away. I told you they're going to go away, Andrew. Don't worry about it.
All right.
Okay.
I won't tell anybody.
Okay. So, as a geriatric doctor, though, how many of these old people that you see have got venereal diseases? It can't be that many.
So it's not. So it's usually not an active, but it's something that they contracted long ago. Hep C is huge. Y'all probably see that in the news. Like Hep C rates for baby boomers is through the roof because through blood transfusions, unprotected sex. Even like IV.
Well, Ramon's a journalist. Do you see this in the news? You're in the news business.
Did you write an article about it?
I don't. One of the interesting things, I don't know if you saw not to change gears too much, but the ProPublica story involving the high mortality rates for women who like delivering in the United States.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
It's interesting that like we see like car accidents. You report on them. If like a deadly car accident, you report on it. If somebody were to accidentally kill themselves with like by accidentally shooting themselves, that would make the news.
That's a good story.
But you don't see a lot of like medical, like people that die like in hospitals for things that they probably shouldn't die of. You don't usually report that as like news, unless it's like in the context of like a civil lawsuit way later, right? And I mean, there's like devices that are meant to kind of like delay at what point that can actually like proceed to like the civil courts or whatnot. So I guess that's my way of saying no. Like, there's not a lot of, and I mean, there's like it's really difficult to obviously get short of like somebody completely waiving their rights and just giving you their own file. It's pretty hard to access like.
But man dies of syphilis is not exactly a big story, even in the Times-Picayune, which will
but I mean, if
the last story I read in the Times-Picayune, which was 2 days ago, or maybe 3 days ago now, was "When Your Weight in Shrimp." That was the headline on the front.
When Your Weight in Shrimp.
When Your Weight in Shrimp. That was on the front page of the Sunday paper, I think. That was the actual headline. I was thinking it might be like Trump impeached or something, given what was going on. But it was "When Your Weight in Shrimp." I know you don't work for the Times-Picayune, but what I'm saying is, as a general rule, that man dies of syphilis, even for the Times-Picayune, is not going to make it.
I mean, that's like a culture. I mean, I guess that's a cultural thing. I mean, there's sometimes that people die like in hospitals from things that they probably are pretty unusual for. That they wouldn't. And they don't make the news. When, I mean, like why is a car accident? Or like if somebody in their own driveway gets crushed to death by their own car,
that's
right? Like we've reported on that.
That's
I mean that's just like an accident. So I guess that was just my long way of saying that usually aren't writing about. So, but even in like from 5,000 feet in the air, I haven't really seen much of
syphilis.
Of that. So
I don't think you can see syphillis from 5,000 feet in the air. It's a spirochetal.
You don't feel
I guess
it.
I mean like in the big picture.
it's down there. You don't feel it.
It's in somebody's hoo-ha or on their genitals. You can't see it from 5,000 feet, right, Doctor? I'm surprised there's a lot of geriatrics with syphilis. That's surprising.
They have the end-stage syphilis. Like, I think it's called stage 3. The end-stage syphilis where it's like the neurosyphilis, the Al Capone kind of thing.
So this is something to look forward to in old
something
age.
to look forward to. The way my patient presented that I diagnosed with this he said, I can't walk on the New Orleans sidewalks anymore because he had neurosyphilis. Like he couldn't.
Don't get off the mic on this
I was excited. See, that's the kind of stuff I get excited about. Anyway,
why can't you walk on a sidewalk with syphilis?
New Orleans sidewalks, which I think
uneven.
is awesome because they're uneven, and he couldn't tell where his feet were from the neurosyphilis. He had neuropathy from the neurosyphilis.
Oh, man.
That's neat to me. That's like a cult, like a New Orleans local culture plus medicine intersecting.
Right.
That's really. I can't walk on the sidewalk.
The good news is though, Saturday night we can get all the hot dogs we can eat and all the booze we can drink for $20.
I feel like you would appreciate this. Can I mention the other bands? Because the first two that I mentioned are awesome. So Volume Overload, they're an 80s cover band. They're medicine residents and med students that comprise this. And so that's pretty cool. And then Katie Red is hosting and performing. Katie Red.
Wow, this is a pretty interesting night.
And then Delish the Goddess.
So you put all this together. So you've got a bit of a
I don't.
future in
I don't.
booking acts.
I don't.
Things
Not
don't
at all.
work
But
out.
I appreciate the exposure that I've had today because I do enjoy that. And I do these fundraisers and I bring musicians in.
I don't think I'm going to fit that bill, but thank you.
But there's other bills. So the whole this Krewe du Sante thing, we're trying to expand to support clinics that don't have nonprofit status. So very new starting clinics. And so the scope of our fundraisers would hopefully expand to include people that do, that don't do as much mainstream New Orleans music, but that would attract a crowd that's interested in that, whatever that cause is. So
cool.
Anyway, so I wouldn't say you don't fit the bill.
Would you like to hear Andrew play another song before we get the hell out of here? Come on, what about it?
I didn't know I was auditioning. Now I'm nervous.
Yes, if you really like this one, we can book them right now for the next one. How often do you do these fundraising parties?
So Hopfest is once a year. I'm hoping to do more stuff, though. Okay. Yeah.
So it's just once a year?
Yeah, right now it's just once a year, yeah.
All right. How much are you hoping to raise on Saturday night?
We shoot for like 10 grand, 15 grand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lucky dogs. Okay, we haven't even talked about the statues at all, Ramon. I saw that you wrote an article about the Beauregard statue that came down.
About today. Just a father and son duo got arrested for spray painting General Beauregard on the monument.
Yeah, what they say, General Beauregard, CSA.
Yeah.
What is that,
Confederate States of America.
Oh, my God, that's what
So, yeah, they got arrested, ironically, for, I guess, defacing a historical landmark, which
is
for
ironic.
the pro-monument crowd. I mean, I don't know if ironic's the right word, but
oh, come on.
Pro-monument crowd is finding it's getting worked up over that because it's like, well, I mean, it's a stump now. And
it's not a monument. That's what I thought. How can you get arrested for defacing a monument when it's no longer a monument?
I guess I'd have to look. I imagine... I'm just guessing here, but I imagine that the inscription or whatever was at the bottom is going to be a marker of some kind, like a historical landmark, and that's what they ended up doing. I imagine we've been speculating why did they leave the stump, and it's like it's probably hard to take down.
Yeah, it's heavy.
And then I guess I'm sure there's an answer for it, and that's something we were trying to figure out was and whether there was also like some kind of designation for that has to. That's why it has to stay there.
I've got another question. Why didn't they leave the horse? The horse is an innocent victim. Beauregard, you can think what you want of, but the horse, what did the horse do to him?
They were melded together.
I think they come one in. I think
they could have gas axed it, unweld it. No. I love that. I thought the horse is beautiful. That statue of that horse.
Maybe you just lop the head off and call it the headless horseman of Sleepy Valley.
I know they had to raise a good bit of funds to do what they did. I wonder they probably would have had a few. I don't know how much more it would have cost to also separate man from horse and then leave the horse there. But
it's unfair. Andrew, what are you playing?
I'll play you a song that for exactly 5 minutes I considered as possibly the title track to this record.
Ooh.
Okay. Not because of the song, just because of the name. Because, the song is called... What is the song? Let me make sure I have my articles correct. I think it's just called Heart of a Man.
Okay.
Heart of a Man. All right, on the surface, it's kind of like very easy to pass that over. But if you dig in, it's kind of nice. But the fact that on the surface you pass it right over means it can't be the title. But anyway, this song is called Heart of a Man, not the record.
Oh, the heart of a man is a runaway train, rolling on cold cigarettes and cocaine, burning off his freedom at a speed he can't sustain. Oh, the heart of a man is a runaway train. I got nothing to fear but my own two hands. Build myself up from the ground just to tear down again. Time after time I left you lonely. I know I caused you so much pain. Pick up speed, then yell back for you. Say I'm sorry, I can't explain. It's just the heart of a man is a runaway train. Got no ropes or chains around me. Nothing ties me down. Oh, westward is the only way I'm bound. Only the fuel for the fire surrounds me. Oh, it's gonna take a woman like you who knows I can't slow down. A woman like you to wrap a love around me, to hold on and point the way. 'Cause the heart of a man is a runaway train. Got no ropes or chains around me. Nothing ties me down. Oh, westward is the only way I'm bound. Only the fuel for the fire surrounds me. Oh, it's gonna take a woman like you who knows I can't slow down. A woman like you to wrap her love around me, to hold on and point the way. 'Cause the heart of a man is a runaway train. Oh, the heart of a man is a runaway train.
Yes. Wow, nice, Andrew.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Yeah, welcome back.
Thanks, man.
We've
Good to be
missed
back.
you.
I've missed the free beer and hanging out with you.
Yeah, come on. It's great to have
And
you
always
back.
interesting people hanging out with us.
Yes. Today, our guests have been Dr. Kathy Jo Carstarphen, who's an MD and a miles per hour person, otherwise known as KJ, who's also the founder of the Krewe du Sante, where you can go and catch up on Saturday, May the 20th, at Cafe Istanbul at the Healing Center and see a bunch of good bands and get as many hot dogs as you want.
Yep, and
as
open
much
bar.
booze as you can drink for $20.
Not bad.
Cannot go wrong.
Not at all.
And to my left, the man who ripped his Achilles tendon playing soccer around the corner, Ramon Antonio Vargas from the Advocate newspaper. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'll be looking out for your byline.
Great. Thank you. Had a blast.
It's been
It
great
was
hanging out with
fun.
you guys. And Andrew
Looking
Duhon
forward
is
to it.
back.
All right.
Back in the saddle. You back for a while?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, at least next week for sure, and maybe that week after.
Right.
I got a run coming up, but I don't. I
You
think
off
I'm
to
around
Eu-
midweek.
Are you off to Europe in the summer?
No, I'm skipping that this year.
Really? Good
Yeah,
man. Okay,
just
straight home.
got to make sure I put this record out in a timely fashion. So
right.
mixing, mastering. I mean, I can't even come up with a title here. You know, so
I was
I
going
got,
to say,
I got things to do.
if anyone of our 3 listeners has an idea for a title for
Mom,
you,
what you think, Mom?
yeah. What should they do? Drop your line at andrewduhon.com?
Sure, throw it at me.
Okay.
Facebook, whatever you
You
want.
never know. There's got to be a prize in this, surely.
Yeah, I'll give you a free
T-shirt.
record for sure. I'll give you a free record.
Right.
Come to the CD release show. Yeah, come on.
Okay, that's happy hour for another week. Thank you
awesome.
so much for joining us. The producer of our show is Graham DePonte. Our associate producers are Alison Moon and April Stolf. Christian Unruh is our music director. Jean Valois is our music producer. Thomas Walsh is our technical director. And today's show is engineered by the fabulous Eric Morrill. Our live feed directors are Ashley Griffith and Grayson Jernigan. Unfortunately, we had no live feed today, though. Where are those guys, I wonder? Our theme music, was written by and it's being played by Mitch Foreman. If you'd like to be on our show and you can stay upright for about an hour while drinking free cocktails, drop us a line. Our address is on our website. It's neworleans.com. We also check out many other past hours of Happy Hour that we've recorded here at Wayfare, along with some other shows we make at INO Broadcasting. Out to Lunch with Peter Raschuti, live from Commander's Palace. True to the Game with the fabulous Chris True. Midnight Menu +1 with the man who ate New Orleans, Ray Canada and Margot Moss. Louisiana Eats with Poppy Tucker, and the podcast about death, simply called Death the Podcast, with psychologist Dr. Arian Alfant. You can also find other great Louisiana podcasts at itsacadiana.com and itsbatonrouge.la. You can keep up with us on Facebook and on Twitter and Instagram and a bunch of other time-sucking social media as well. And all of it, we're called It's New Orleans. You can find photos from this show on itsneworleans.com and on our Facebook page. These photos were taken by Alison Moon. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast app, thank you for subscribing. Take a moment, if you can, to rate and review us. That helps other people find us. Our show is recorded live today at Wayfare on Ferret Street in Uptown New Orleans, where they have a 3-hour happy hour every day and a 2-day brunch on the weekends, being Saturday and Sunday, probably. Happy Hour is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. For Andrew Duhon, who's finally back in town, everyone around the table here at Wayfare and back at our office at INO Broadcasting, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Grant Morris. I'll see you back here next week for more Happy Hour.
Geico presents Yikes! Another voicemail from your roommate.
Sup, roomie? Hey, a pipe burst in the basement. It's completely flooded. Anyway, I called for someone to fix it, but in the meantime, I was thinking we could finally have that indoor pool party we've always wanted. I got some cool swan floaty things already going. Could you pick up some chips on your way home? Later.
The Geico Insurance Agency could help keep your personal property protected, like if your roommate isn't the brightest pool float in the flooded basement. Visit geico.com to see how easy it is to switch and save on renter's insurance.